right, so today we're gonna practice making some paper snowflakes. You're gonna need a piece of paper, you're gonna need some scissors, and I think that's about it to start. We can gather some other things later. Now, the size paper I need is a square, and all I can find is a rectangle. So how do I do that? There's a really simple way of making your rectangle into a square. I'm gonna find one of the shorter sides here. So I have a shorter side and a longer side and a shorter side and a longer side. I'm gonna take this short side and I'm gonna kind of pivot at this corner and I'm gonna get it to line up with that side there. So I'm taking it, I'm kind of holding this corner down and I'm trying to get those two edges to line up the best I can. I'm gonna get them as close as possible. I'm gonna hold it down. I'm gonna run my finger to the middle and then up and down, just like that. Now I have this leftover rectangle up here. I'm gonna take just a pencil, something like that, oops, and I'm gonna carefully run it across the edge. And then I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm going to cut on that line, and then I'll have a leftover piece that will be a nice square. All right. So here's my square. It might not be absolutely perfect, but it's pretty close. So now I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna fold it right back the way it was, corner to corner. I have a long side here. I'm gonna take it and kind of match up those corners. And I'm gonna do that again, finding the long side, match up those corners. And we're gonna do a really easy one to start because it ends up being a lot of paper to cut through. And this is kind of a lot, it's getting pretty thick. So I'm gonna stop here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna look at it first before I start cutting. I notice that I have a fold here, it's all folded. I notice that I have a fold here, a lot of folds here actually. I have 1, 2, 3 folds here. And then if I look here, I have all just kind of open pieces of paper, okay? I'm gonna be careful. When I'm cutting, I don't wanna cut too much on the folds, so much that it falls apart, but I do wanna cut something. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with the folded edge, and I'm just gonna start cutting out shapes. So I'm gonna cut in, and I actually want this to kind of round. So I'm gonna practice making that go almost like an ice cream cone shape, something like that. And then I'm gonna come in this way. I'll make this like a rectangle. How do I do that? So 2 lines in, I'm just gonna fold it up, then I'm gonna give it a snip. Okay, see, and then this one I'll do a smaller triangle. I think what I want to do too is get rid of this little corner. And then I notice these are the folded edges here too, so I have to be careful not to cut too much. I'm going to cut a shape. And another shape. I think I'll do a half circle. And then on this side, I can also cut some more shapes out. Keeping my shapes simple. And trying not to cut into each other either. So I'm keeping each space kind of separate. So now I have this kind of weird shape. I'm gonna put this down right now, and I'm noticing I have kind of a blizzard on my table. What I'm gonna do to make it easier for myself so that these pieces don't get all over and make a big mess, I'm gonna scoop them up into a little pile like this. I'm gonna go get the garbage can, and I'm just going to swoop them right into the garbage can. So now my area is all cleaned up. Okay, now, ooh, dun, 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 I have to very carefully unfold my snowflake. So remember those folded parts. I'm just gonna do this really gently. I'm not gonna be in a hurry. So I'm gonna find where they were folded. Ooh, how pretty. It's getting there. If you notice that they're sticking, don't pull on it. Just carefully take your fingers and try to get it to open up. Oh, cool. Look at that. All right. Made a little bit of a heart. Some interesting shapes inside of there. All right. I want to try another one. How did I start? Remember, if all you have is a rectangle, you need a square piece of paper. So we're going to have to pivot on the corner, fold, cut, there's that extra piece, fold, fold. Now if you want to make it a little bit harder, if that wasn't too hard for your hands, I'm going to fold it one more time. Okay, so I'm going to get this side over there this time. So this gets a little bit trickier because I am going through a lot of papers now. All right, so here I go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this extra triangle that's here. I don't really want that. So I'm going to go just like this and like that. You can do whatever you want. You could do like a rounded shape. Totally up to you. All right, so now in order to cut through all this thickness of paper, I have to really open my scissors wide and get my paper on the inside of that, of where it makes the triangle there, the inside of the scissors, so that I have more leverage to get some cuts. This will be trickier, so be careful. First thing I want to do is I want to get rid of that corner. And I'm going to go ahead and take my shapes off. I have to be really careful. Now if yours sticks, you can just take and just kind of give it a wiggle too. All right, clean up. And now is the reveal. Yeah, there you go. With just some simple triangles, look what you can make. All these different ways of doing it. Feel free to rewind and see how we folded for the first one. That one was a little bit easier. The second one was a little bit thicker, harder to cut. And have fun. Look at how different they are. Each time you're going to come up with something totally new.